If I had to give you a chance to speak to your younger version of 18-year-old, what would be a short and powerful message you would leave, considering that when many of us were kids, our parents were telling us you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, or I think there was another third job allowed. What would you tell to your younger self as advice?
I'll tell my younger self is to pitch more. Growing up, my parents kind of like left things open for me. My dad never said, I'm a trained engineer, mechanical engineering, masters in engineering, business management, all of that. My dad, too much support.
We always run away from something and run away towards something. What are those two things for you?
I think the number one thing that motivates me is freedom in every sense. I think that makes sense because I'm always running away from anything that's super structured.
Hey, welcome to Silverbacks Valley. I'm your host today and my name is Ibrahim Sanya. Gentle reminder before we start, click that subscribe button and never miss stories of founders and funders changing sports, tech, and entertainment from Africa to the rest of the world. Now enjoy the show. This episode is supported by IRL, an original podcast from Mozilla. Bridget Todd, its host, invites you to a new season titled People Over Profits. If you are into artificial intelligence, AI, this is the show for you. Download Mozilla IRL wherever you get your podcasts. We at Silverbacks Valley are big fans.
Mr Eazi, music mogul, Grammy winner, sports investor, and also now in owning a basketball team with us. Man, where do you find the time? No, really. Before you answer that question, tell us about your journey. How did it all start?
Yeah, good question. So the thing is, my journey actually starts in sort of like entrepreneurship, and then, going university entrepreneurship, from university going to, tech, going back to Nigeria and joining the incubator program for TNG, getting my first VC funding, being in the program for about 2.5 years, which I think kind of like formed, was the best kind of education I got. I'm from there on the side recording as a hobby and, starting to put it out and seeing it become a thing. And so I would divert from that side to actually doing music. But I've always seen music and creators as sort of like startups, just like tech. I've always seen the similarities. So, the music has, given me access to, network, to finances, but never really left technology and entrepreneurship because that's what I've always been. So I wouldn't say it's been a move. I'd just say it's been constant. And if anything, the music has given me the tools. And my earlier training from the incubator program, shout out to Chika Wobi and the guys at 414G. I've kind of still been in around the same, only that I'm now empowered to actually do things I want to do.
That is amazing. I love how you link the music and the technology investments. I'm curious about your boxers. What is their story? What is their name?
I'm in love in investing in talent, and part of this whole entertainment industry also includes sports. And myself and my partner, Liban Suleiman, have a foundation out of Cameroon where, we have gyms, where men and women, boys and girls go to train. We have over 30 people training at the moment. And, some of the success stories include Stefan Fonjo, who's now top 300 in the world in his weight category. And it's just beautiful to see how, the investment has brought out, a talent like himself who's gone from, that training in Cameroon to the global stage, and he could be top 10 at the end of the day.
If you were given a chance to talk about a deal, a transaction that you're immensely proud about without sounding arrogant, which one would that be?
Wow. I think, I'm just going to limit that to, because of NDAs, I can say a lot of things in a lot of my other worlds. So I'll limit it to the one where I'm most free to talk about, which is the music. And I remember, in 2019, turning down a six-figure deal from one of the biggest music companies in the world. I remember sitting with the CEO, president of the most powerful music company in the world, and he offering me a figure to have an imprint, to have a music company that was, underneath the biggest music label in the world. And at the time, I could say the figure, it was $6 million. And in 2019, I hadn't seen $6 million. So $6 million seemed like a lot of money. I remember having migraine for 2 days whilst I was thinking about this deal in LA, and my manager in my ear telling me, just sign this deal. Even if it fails, you're a businessman, you could take that money and invest it in even farming. Maybe you could go into cocoa production and exportation. And, I at the end of the day, it seemed like the crazy thing to do, because the numbers for Afrobeats at the time was not where it is now. And I remember turning down that deal, and it seemed like it was very crazy. And today, my music company is what four times that, so it's what, and beyond the value of the music company is the fact that we've stayed independent. We've given all our creatives economic and creative freedom. So the freedom to put out albums when they want to put out, stay authentic as they want, and even decide how fast or slow they grow. That is one of the proudest things to me. And hopefully the next time I sit with that gentleman, it will be a proper equity discussion. And that's where it already is, because I'm already in conversations with the likes of the biggest music fund in the world, Hypnosis Song Fund, mentor of mine. They're running it, and that fund has over $2 billion of music assets under management, FTSE 100 in the UK. And we're already in conversations now on investing and acquiring African music IP that is created in Africa for global consumption inside and outside of Africa.
This episode is supported by IRL, an original podcast from Mozilla. Bridget Todd, its host, invites you to a new season titled People Over Profits. If you are into artificial intelligence, AI, this is the show for you. Download Mozilla IRL wherever you get your podcasts. We at Silverbacks Valley are big fans.
Now, if we had to give you a chance to speak to your younger version of 18-year-old, what would be a short and powerful message you would leave, considering that when many of us were kids, our parents were telling us you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, or I think there was another third job allowed. Nothing else was allowed. And obviously today we see models like yourself that start in music, become an investor in Decagon, in a payment platform, in a digital bank, etc., owning boxers, owning basketball team, owning football teams. What would you tell that young man, considering that you're not alone? You have Jay-Z doing the same. I don't think if many people know here that just like Mr Eazi, Jay-Z has become the biggest talent manager of rugby and cricket almost in the world. So you can see there's a trend going on. So what would you tell to your younger self as advice?
The only thing I'll tell my younger self is to pitch more. Growing up, my parents kind of like left things open for me. My dad never said, I'm a trained engineer, mechanical engineering, masters in engineering, business management, all of that. But at the end of the day, I did that because I wanted to do that. My dad, my parents just supported anything. It was too much support because I was done with school and just going from one career, one entrepreneurship journey to another, and they just let me do it. Like imagine finishing school at 19. I was done with my BSc at 19, and I was just experimenting till 26, where I decided I was going to pursue music. So that's a lot of patience from my parents with the amount of investment they put into my education. But I think that 19-year-old Mr. Eazi is just pitch more, because there used to be this fallacy of keeping ideas to yourself and not telling anybody. So, I'll have these ideas and I won't want to tell anybody these ideas because I felt, you have to keep your ideas to yourself. And, by later on, thankfully, not so long, by 23, I realized that, wait a minute, I was doing myself a disservice by keeping to myself. And the more I shared my ideas in proper spaces, you emphasis on proper spaces, and there's a lot of proper spaces, like, coming to this program and meeting this kind of your people like yourselves and like-minded people, incubator programs is what really makes the difference. So it's just, sharing, getting into spaces where you can feel free to speak about your ideas and find collaborators or investors or facilitators. Because not everybody has to invest. Not everyone has to collaborate. Sometimes you just need somebody to do the true pass, just pass the ball to you for you to score. I think that's the major thing I'll tell my 18-year-old self.
There's a quote that says, we always run away from something and run away towards something. What are those two things for you, whether in your life or in your career?
What drives me the most is creative freedom to be able to create what you want to create when you need to create, and economic freedom to be able to do what you want to do, it's I think the number one thing that motivates me is freedom in every sense, and I think that makes sense because I'm always running away from anything that's super structured, so be it, after graduating, getting my education, getting an internship in Schlumberger, I ran away from that because it seemed too structured for me. I keep on running away from that to express. I think that's the creative side in me that wants to be free, but we know that there's really no real freedom without some form of structure. So it's an irony.
Hey, if you liked today's story, press like, leave a comment, subscribe, come back for more stories from the founders and the funders, changing sports, tech, and entertainment from Africa to the rest of the world. We look forward to seeing you again soon.